Mass Resistance is an anti-gay organization based in Massachusetts, and ever since their state became the first to legalize gay marriage, they've gone completely off the deep end. They've protested transgender mannequins at Macy's, they've claimed that every gay marriage in Massachusetts is actually invalid, and one of their employees was arrested after taking pictures of children at a middle school and then running through people's yards while stripping off his clothes. They've been certified as an anti-gay hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, listed alongside groups like the Westboro Baptist Church. And given their most recent antics, it's easy to see how they earned this distinction. In January of 2009, a transgender group held a conference at a hotel in Peabody, Massachusetts, and someone from Mass Resistance was there to secretly film the people who attended. What they saw was so shocking, so horrifying, so outrageous, they didn't even bother to mention it until 14 months later. Last week, Mass Resistance posted a video from the event which they describe as the insanity that will descend on all of America unless this sexual radical movement is stopped. They're absolutely right, of course. This video is insane. It's utterly bizarre. It's a bunch of people standing around in a lobby. And that's about it. That's the insanity. What's really insane is that they thought this was worth filming. I guess it wasn't very clear why there should be anything wrong with this, so Mass Resistance added their own commentary. Throughout the video, they repeatedly insult transgender women by denying their identity and referring to them as men in skirts and cross-dressers. For some reason, they found it necessary to point out women who were just standing there, as if their presence alone was somehow an issue. They also called attention to a young girl entering an elevator with a man dressed as a woman, and noted that several young girls were seen in the company of transgender men. The obvious implication is that the mere existence of transgender people is inherently a threat to those around them. The video complains that hotel guests had not been told the transgender group would be having a conference. Well, that's because it's a transgender conference and not a leper colony. But the best part is when Mass Resistance decided to film everyone who used the public restrooms. Yes, they actually did this, and apparently they thought they could identify transgender people based on their height. I suppose it never occurred to them that A, some women are just tall rather than trans, and B, there are plenty of completely passable trans women that they wouldn't even notice. If this is the insanity that Mass Resistance wanted to draw attention to, it completely and utterly backfired. Really, what's more disturbing here? People using public restrooms, or the people secretly taping them? If there's someone else in the men's room, I don't care what their genital configuration is. I don't care what their medical history is. I'm not interested. So it's not very troubling if there are trans people in the restroom. I'd be more worried about the perverts from some creepy hate group waiting outside to record me for their propaganda. If anything, the most notable part of this video is how mundane it is. There were no violent altercations, nobody was assaulted, nobody was violated just by being in an elevator with someone who's transgender. The only reason this is even an issue is because Mass Resistance chose to make it one. But the homophobic bathroom voyeurs aside, it's just a bunch of people peacefully associating at a public event, as human beings tend to do, and apparently that's just too horrible for Mass Resistance. If they really want to see something interesting, maybe they should go to an anime convention. Hopefully their heads would explode.